A great day to us all. Welcome to the fourth episode of the Intrapreneur Series with yours truly, James Yao Apia, the Intrapreneur. In the third episode, we continued our discussion on the three main characteristics of an ordinary worker. And we talked about the second characteristic, which is laziness. Yes, we talked about laziness. We then summarized laziness as failure to contribute significantly in the growth of any work environment. We also classify lazy workers into three main groups. That's the habitual late worker, the swervo worker, and the excuse maker worker. We explained that the habitual late worker is almost always late to work and first to close from work. The swervo will also almost always run away from difficult tasks. And the excuse maker will almost always blame something or another person for his or her failures. Now, these episode 3, episode 2, episode 1, they are still online. We are not ready to take them off. So you can always refer to them. You can always search online for the Intrapreneur Series. Just go to any search engine online and you will find the Intrapreneur Series. You just have to pick which episode you want to listen to and listen to the detailed discussions. Now, in this episode 4, we will discuss the third behavior or characteristics of the ordinary worker. And as always, this production is by KNKC of Kingdom Harvesters Ministries, a Touch Life ministry, jointly supported by Bucadilos Ghana Limited, your one-stop shop for your onshore, offshore, catering and logistical needs. And of course, Aluka Global Limited, your perfect construction partner. Now, we quickly zoom on the three main characteristics of the ordinary worker. And in this episode, we are handling, or we are tackling, or we are discussing reactivity as the third characteristics. I said reactivity. That's REACTIVITY. Reactivity. And reactivity is the opposite of proactivity. So, if you are reactive, then it means you are not proactive. Yes, that is what it means. Now, I need to explain that every unprofitable ordinary worker is highly reactive. That is the initial explanation. Every unprofitable ordinary worker is highly reactive and not proactive. Okay, so now let's take the general definition of a reactive worker. Generally, in English, a reactive worker is a person who tends to respond to tasks, problems, or situations as they arise rather than proactively planning or anticipating future needs. Yes. Let me take it again. In English, that's in general English definition or explanation of a reactive worker. It's a person who tends to respond to tasks, problems, or situations as they arise, rather than proactively planning or anticipating future needs. So, we observe a certain trend. Remember, we have learned that an ordinary worker has three characteristics: lack of intrinsic motivation, lazy, and today we are handling reactivity. So, lack of intrinsic motivation, laziness, then today reactivity. Okay, so let's observe the trend. Lazy workers lack intrinsic motivation, and reactive workers are also lazy and unprofitable. I believe you catch that, you have really gotten the link or the trend. Lazy workers lack intrinsic motivation, and reactive workers are also lazy and unprofitable. But hey, let me establish a balance here. Being reactive as another characteristic of a proactive person is not bad at all. So if you are more proactive and you have a bit of reactivity in you, it's not bad at all. In fact, it helps to handle emergency situations. Reactive characteristic trait helps to handle emergency situations. So if you are more proactive and have a bit of reactivity, it's good. It's very good. However, today in this current episode, this episode 4, our present focus is on the reactive worker who is not proactive. So more reactive of a worker than being proactive. That is the focus. So let's get this balance so that we don't jump things up. So by this balance, let me make this disclaimer. While being reactive can be beneficial in situations requiring quick thinking and immediate action, it can also lead to a lack of long-term vision and strategy. Let me rewind and come over again. Let me rewind. That's the DJ's words. I'm making a disclaimer here. And the disclaimer is, while being reactive can be beneficial in situations requiring quick thinking and immediate action, it can also lead to a lack of long-term vision and strategy, which can potentially introduce inefficiencies and also, as a matter of course, decrease productivity and consequentially lead to low profitability. I believe this disclaimer is well noted. So it is good that if you have more proactive characteristic trait and you have some little reactivity, it's good. But note that if you are more of reactive person, what is going to happen to your business or wherever you are working is that you are going to introduce more inefficiencies. You are also, by the inefficiencies, going to lead to a reduced productivity, and as a result, end up in low profitability. I believe with some examples, we will get to understand who a reactive person is. And again, I've classified the examples of a reactive person or reactive worker into 3. The first one is the firefighting reactive worker. Firefighting reactive worker. Now, this firefighting reactive worker, this worker may be a business owner or an employee. I am not calling the business owner entrepreneur because entrepreneurs are mostly proactive. They are not firefighting. Yes, they have that firefighting bit in them, but that is in the minority. So if you are a business owner and you are more of firefighting, no, I'm not considering you as an entrepreneur. Because an entrepreneur is a better worker. You know what I'm saying? Entrepreneur is a better worker. So I will not consider you as an entrepreneur if you are a firefighting business owner. I'll call you business owner. So who is firefighting reactive worker? This worker almost always address issues when they become crisis, which results in a chaotic work environment and possibly prevents your working team, your colleagues, from moving forward on strategic initiatives. If an unprofitable ordinary worker frequently reacts to urgent issues, this can create tension with colleagues and managers. Why? Because other profitable workers may feel their time and contributions are undervalued or mismanaged. Now, let me drum home this. Any worker whose reactive procrastinating actions halts production or reduces revenue is an unprofitable ordinary worker. Let me take it once more. Any worker whose reactive procrastinating actions halts production or reduces revenue is an unprofitable ordinary worker. We move to the second example. The second example of a reactive worker, I call this person a zero innovative worker. A zero innovative worker. Now, this type of worker almost always typically exhibit behaviors and attitudes that hinder their ability to generate new ideas or approaches. I take it again. This type of worker, who is called a zero innovative worker, almost always typically exhibits behaviors and attitudes that hinder the ability to generate new ideas or approaches. Now, somebody asks how do they do it? How do you find out? How do you get to know that? How do you get to know that this person is a zero innovative worker? This is how they behave. They prefer sticking to established routines and methods, avoiding new or untested approaches, even when the current methods they are using, the current methods they are involving are ineffective. They often wait for instructions from supervisors rather than taking initiative to identify and implement improvements independently. They are always with status quo. The way things are, let's keep it like that, and lack the drive or motivation to improve process or outcomes. We take the third example. Yeah. Third example of a reactive worker. And I call this third example reactive worker. Third example of a reactive worker as risk fear worker. Risk fear worker. This worker always tends to avoid situations that involve uncertainty or potential failure. This person, when the thing he's not sure of what will happen, when the person feels that if I don't take care, I will lose easily, this person will never venture. Will never venture. So he or she will prefer safe and familiar methods. Yes. What I know, if I know I add this to this, I'll get this, and that one I'll use that method. But when I add this to this and I don't know what I'll get, that one I won't. And success in any form never comes with known inputs. Sometimes unconventional inputs, sometimes creative inputs result in creative products. It is after creating it, then you will have some formula to keep doing using that. But to create the first one, you will have to be creative. You will have to be innovative. You will have to go deep into your actual self as also a creator. That part of it is for another discussion. But we should know that this risk fear worker always tends to avoid situations that involve uncertainty or potential failure. And he or she often prefer safe and familiar methods. Now, how do we identify these people? What do they do? How do they behave? These risk fear workers, how do they behave? They struggle in making decisions. So if you find somebody who struggles in making decisions that involve uncertainty, if you find anybody that struggles in making decisions that involve uncertainty, know that this person is a fear reactive worker, a risk fear reactive worker. And they often delay in taking preventive actions. They will rather prefer that somebody gives approval before they take any preventive action. Somebody will have to tell them, if you do it this way, yeah, I've done it before, and because I've done it, when I did it, I got so and so, oh yeah, you can go ahead and do it. Yeah, before they do it. They will always wait for issues to come before they react. They are overly concerned with the possibility of failing or being criticized. Yes. They are overly concerned with the possibility of failing or being criticized. So, if this thing I'll fail, if they will criticize me if failure comes, and because of this, it inhibits their willingness to take challenges that will carry any risk. Whoa. Well, folks, time is up. I said it in the previous episode that I have just 15-20 minutes. In a practical seminar, I will be able to do 3 hours, and in doing the 3 hours, I can give you a lot of examples, a lot of classical examples. But this is a 15-20 minute thing. I cannot go beyond that. So soon, this episode has also come to an end. Forgive me if I step on any toe. Quoting my spiritual father, Reverend Edwin Aqua. Can I quote? I did not come to pray to you only, but to myself also. End of quote. This episode 4 is an important and urgent prompt for all workers, including myself, not to live in denial of this reactive, procrastinating characteristic trait. Note that there is a tendency for every worker to be reactive at a point. If you are found today mostly reactive or mostly proactive, if you are found today mostly proactive, please keep it up. Continually work on yourself to be an excellent proactive worker and a less reactive worker. But if you find yourself in your current state as a more reactive, procrastinating worker and less proactive worker, please work on yourself also. It shall be well. Please be informed that this production is by kind agency of Kingdom Harvest Ministries, a tax life ministry, jointly supported by Bocadillos Ghana Limited, your one-stop shop for your onshore and offshore catering and logistical needs. And of course, Aruka Global Limited, your perfect construction partner. In the episode 3, that was the last episode before this, we classify lazy workers into 3. Just 3 groups, 3 main groups. That's the habitual late worker, the sweatful worker, and the excuse maker worker. In today's episode, we have also discussed reactivity as the third of the 3 characteristic traits of the ordinary worker. I pray and hope that this episode will add to your knowledge and make you a better worker. Episode 5, which will come after this episode, will introduce a discussion line on the actual type of job role that each one of us has been assigned to. So, do follow me, share the link with your contacts, and stay blessed till we meet again. I remain yours truly, James. Yeah, appear, the entrepreneur. See ya.